Get ready to learn how she lost over 100 pounds and all the different obstacles that may have been in her way while she did it. I'm excited to have an amazing client success story with an awesome guest today, the one and only Liz Fladmark. Let's dive in to today's episode. What is going on, friends? So excited that we are here. I've got an amazing client sitting next to me. Welcome to the show, Miss Liz. Liz, how are you?
Good.
Good. This is so exciting, you guys. Liz, we were talking a little bit before the show started here, and you're going to be hitting your 5 years real soon.
Yes, in March.
In March, 5 years. And Liz has been just the success that I don't even know everything that's went into how you've accomplished everything that you have. And so that's why I just thought, how fun would it be to really peel back the curtain on how you're able to lose, how much weight have you lost to date?
100 pounds.
100 pounds. And it's wild. Like, you think about that, losing 100 pounds, that can't be an easy task.
No, it wasn't easy.
Yeah. And you've been through some surgeries as well, right?
Yes.
What surgeries in the last 5 years that you've been at FitBody have you went through?
Well, I've had a couple, but the two major surgeries is I had two major knee surgeries.
Okay.
6 months apart. I had cartilage gone in both my knees.
Okay.
Too young for replacement.
Okay.
So they did a more extensive kind of reconstruction where they had to move where my knees were to put them in a place where there was more cartilage.
Oh, wow.
There are replacements in my future.
Sure.
So this is a temporary fix to keep my parts as long as possible.
Yeah.
So it could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so when you say move your knee, move like the kneecap or like the whole,
so
like, how does that work? I guess I'm a little like they move my knee. What does that mean?
So they cut the tibia bone and then they just move your knee so it's in a different place, like underneath.
So do they kind of like cut it as how they would do a replacement? So they cut it as if it would, but then they like reposition it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To where there was more cartilage in there.
Wow. That is wild. Okay. So, and you went through those 6 months apart.
Yes.
And during your knee replacement or knee surgery, you weren't able to come into FitBody.
No.
How long were you out each time?
So each surgery was 6 weeks of no weight bearing. I was able to come back for a couple of months in between the two surgeries, but very modified. No jumping, nothing. I stepped everything out, did a lot of upper body.
Yeah.
And it's for full recovery, they say 9 to 12 months for each one.
Wow.
So I spent a year in physical therapy.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Oh my goodness. That had to honestly be very hard on your mind too. Like when you knew that you were going into these knee surgeries, you probably had to have, because at that point, how much weight had you lost?
I had lost 50 pounds.
Up until like the first time you had to go in for surgery?
Yep.
Okay. And how long ago was your first one?
It was 2 years ago in December.
Okay. And then 6 months after that?
I had the second one done.
Okay. So you had lost 50 pounds, feeling really accomplished.
I was. I learned to paddleboard. I went on a 75-mile cycle ride with my brother. I did I pulled an airplane. I did all these really cool things. So I was super excited.
Yeah. Just making all this progress. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you find out you have to have knee surgery.
Yes.
What did that do to your mind?
I really backpedaled a lot. I put 40 of the 50 pounds back on through the process.
Oh my.
So I had to,
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. So it was hard. You don't realize the connections I made at the gym and, just that was something I did every day. Yep. It was just part of, and I couldn't do anything except sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And watch TV.
Yeah. So did you put 40 on at the first one, or was that kind of
over
throughout the process?
Throughout the process.
Okay. So 2 years ago, so you'd lost 50, Knee surgery kind of goes in.
Yep.
You gain 40 back.
Yeah.
So now you're sitting at the end of knee surgery.
Yep.
You're back into it, and you're only 10 pounds down
Yep.
from where you started about a year ago,
Right.
or a year before this whole
Yeah.
thing started.
Yeah.
And then you have this, from that point until now, though, this 90-pound
Yeah.
weight loss.
Yes.
And just kind of consistent and gradual weight loss
Yeah.
over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think that right there is the biggest thing, because so many people go into this, and maybe if you're watching or listening, you go into this weight loss journey thinking that it might be quick, definitely hoping that it will be, right? We all go
Yeah.
into it hoping that it
Right.
will be, but real life journey, it wasn't quick. But now when you look at it, those 2 years of your life, that was a long process, but those 2 years are done. And here we are today
Yeah.
with 100 pounds gone. What are some of the things that have changed in your life from where you were when you started 100 pounds heavier to now?
Well, I think a lot of it is, mentality. When I first started Fit Body, I was like, oh, well, I can still eat that. I work out.
Yep.
Like I can still have that. I work out. I was
Yeah.
a fast food junkie.
Sure.
Drank a lot of wine.
Yeah.
A lot of beer, a lot of that stuff you shouldn't do. And I really, it took a while to lose the first 50. It took a
Yeah.
while to figure out the eating and that sort of thing. And I felt like I had it going. And then, life happens, right? The knees happen. It was so easy to fall back into the comfort of
Yeah.
what I knew and what made
Yeah.
me feel better.
Yep.
So when they tell me, well, we don't know how long your knees are going to last,
Mm-hmm.
2, 5, 10 years, we don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, this is serious. It was very expensive to do, and
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anytime soon again.
Yeah.
So it is really focusing on that, really buckling down in the mindset. Like, I was drinking 2 Monsters a day. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I was drinking probably every night. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
When my husband and I go out to eat, we go out once a week. We share a meal. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of changes that I really have to mentally focus on, and
Yeah.
really focusing on too, like when I don't have to eat till I'm stuffed. I can
Yeah.
eat till I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't have to eat just because I packed it in my lunchbox. So I'm not hungry, don't eat it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big thing is so many times people think that, okay, maybe people that are watching or listening, they do drink the 2 Monsters a day.
Right.
Maybe they do have the wine or the beer every single night. And maybe the thought of giving that up is like, I enjoy that stuff.
Right.
So how were you able to realize that while you may have enjoyed it, what you enjoy more is this feeling of the weight loss, the success, and where you're at now? So how did you overcome that?
I don't know. I just I just really had to focus on not I just really don't want to do the knee surgery again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really that was really kind of the tipping point for me is I don't want to be on crutches again. I don't want to wear braces again. I don't want to go under the knife again. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so hard.
Yep.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I think, and one of the things I've learned as it relates to behavior change, because a lot of times when we're looking at really losing a significant amount of weight, we have to understand behavior change.
Right.
Because you can say all you want about how I'm going to change and you have this mindset change and this different stuff, but what it comes down to is changing your behaviors. And a lot of times in order to truly have a behavior change, there either has to be a big enough reason why you want to, or a big enough fear as to what's going to happen if you don't.
Right.
So either those are the two things. Either you have a big enough why of what will change when it happens, or a big enough fear as to what's going to happen if something doesn't change. And I feel like you had a good combination of both.
Yeah.
But that fear of, if I don't do this, I will be back in surgery sooner than if I do this. And that fear was your throttle that just no matter what, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that every pound you lose is 4 pounds of pressure off your knee. And I was like, whoa, that's 400 pounds of pressure I just took off my knees.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I've seen that exact same thing too,
Yeah.
right? So if you didn't know that, you're watching or you're listening, every 1 pound that you lose takes 4 pounds of pressure off of your joints. So if you do have bad feet, bad ankles, bad knees, bad hips, bad back, every pound you lose is taking 4 pounds of pressure off. And can you walk and move in just such a more easy way now than before?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I still have, sometimes I still have pain. Sometimes I overdo it. The muscle, like when they told me because they cut everything, your muscle goes down to like nothing.
Yeah.
You have to rebuild it. So there are still some things that I just started, like within the last couple of weeks, being able to do a lunge unassisted.
Sure.
And I think last week someone's like, well, add some weight. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just getting my form down.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to put any more weight on it yet.
Yep.
But so it takes time. Like there's still some pain, but.
Let's rewind the clock almost 5 years. How and or why did you start this at FitBody, but start this health and wellness journey? Like, what was it that wanted you? Like, why did you start?
I was close to 300 pounds, and I didn't want to be anymore. And so I've done gyms before. We had workout equipment that we bought at home that I tried, and I just couldn't stick with it.
Yep.
So I saw Pete had lost 100 pounds in an advertisement. I was like, I can do that.
Did you know Pete?
I did not know Pete.
Did not know Pete.
Did not know him. He was on an advertisement. And I was like, well, he did it. I'm like, I can do it. Look at, like, I could go do that. So I signed up here. Yeah. And I signed up somewhere else for another program to learn at another gym. And I was like, well, I'll do them both simultaneously. I'll figure out which one I like, and then I'll just do that.
Yep.
And I remember the day after my first session here, I was in so much pain. I called and I said, should I hurt this bad? And should I come back or should I wait?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Like, I can't walk. Like, I'm so sore. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to go back there. Like, I just, it's so awful. Like, I just don't even know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I paid for it. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yep.
So the more I came here, I liked it better. And I was like, I don't know if I really like this other place that I'm trying.
Okay.
And I just didn't really like it.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So I stayed here.
Yeah.
Like that. I like coming in. I don't know what I'm going to do. Someone's going to tell me to do it. I'm going to go do it. And then I'm going to go home and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Yeah. So that's so cool. I think that's so powerful. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the show today, was because I think a lot of people, when they see others and then they can maybe relate, then it gives them that sense of hope, that sense of belief that, hey, if this person did it, then I can. And that's exactly what started you. You've seen Pete, he did it. And now here you are, you did it. And that is so amazing. And there's no plans to stop. I mean, Liz is one of the people, you guys, my normal workout time is 5 a.m. Liz's normal workout time is 6 a.m. at the central location. And so I see her almost every day in passing. And then I'll come and I'll maybe work out on a Saturday, or I'll lift in our other building that we have by our central location on Saturday. And I see you here. And it's part of your life now.
Yeah.
And so if you are wanting to make a big change, lose 50 to 100 pounds, you have to learn that this is going to need to be something that becomes part of your life. Right?
Yeah.
And I think for you too, your husband, Lars, right? Like what a good support you had from him in the beginning.
Yeah. He came with me. I'm like, you got to come with me.
Yeah.
Come with me. And so he did it for a year with me. It wasn't really his thing.
Yeah.
But he's been like a huge support system.
Yeah.
Like he does like a ton of our cooking, and we are looking up healthy meal recipes and stuff. And he's been amazing.
Yeah. And how many kids do you have, Liz?
2.
You have 2 kids. And how old are they?
Gabe is 18. He's a senior.
Okay.
And Lydia is 15. She's a freshman.
Okay. So not only are you mom, wife, you have a job and you work full time, all these things, you've been able to add health and fitness. What have Gabe and Lydia, they've noticed a difference in mom, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep. And they've come with to some of the kid things when they were younger, and I brought them with, to do. Gabe did this for a little while. He came with.
Yeah.
But again, not quite their thing, but they've come and done stuff.
And I think that's the biggest thing too, is finding what is your thing, know? And so even way back to the beginning, when you started FitBody and you started another program, at the end of the day, if that other program would have been your thing, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it is finding your thing.
Yeah.
And then I think one thing I've loved watching in your journey, because I don't get, and it's one of the unfortunate parts of like business growth.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to know every client, like on a personal level. Well, now there's just no way.
Right.
But I still, as much as I can, I try to watch from afar. So I watch the different posts and stuff that people post. And I love seeing the different successes that you've had. So you said like the bike ride. I remember that was a post at one point in time that you had posted with your bike, and it just like the celebration, like I did this thing.
Yeah.
And so what was that? Explain that experience. You went on a 75? What did you say?
Yeah, 75-mile ride.
Where was that at?
It was down in Iowa. It was called the Baccoon Ride.
Baccoon.
Yeah, it's on the Baccoon, I don't know, the Raccoon River Trail, I think is what it used to be, like a train track, and they paved it over. So there's not a lot of hills or anything, which I kind of like. It's flat. My brother is a huge cyclist, so he does Ragbri every year, and Lars was going to go, and I was like, I think I want to go. I think I want to do it. And I did zero training for this.
Yeah, jumped in.
Just jumped in. I'm like, let's go. Like just on the whim, we're going to go. And so it was 75 miles was a total trek.
Yeah.
But you go like 6 miles and then you stop. But it's beer and bacon. So you stop and have a drink and a pork product.
Sure.
And then you go maybe 9 more miles. But there's hundreds of people all doing this on bikes. So it's the first time I'd ever done anything like that before.
That's cool. And that's the thing, like finding those things where beer and bacon, I mean, people can get behind beer and bacon.
Right.
I don't know if they can get behind 75 miles of bike riding, but if you're like, hey, we're going to stop every 6 to 9, 10 miles and have some beer and some bacon, hey, let me try this thing out.
Yeah.
But that just might be the catalyst that gets someone moving. And when it comes to health and fitness, it's about movement, finding something that's going to move your body that you enjoy, and then learning to eat to accompany that along the way.
Yeah.
So that was a big milestone. I remember then you went paddleboarding.
Yep, I did stand-up paddleboarding.
That's here in town, right?
Yes.
Over at
Lake Lorraine.
Yes, Lake Lorraine.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like I like addicted to it. And so after all my knee surgeries, I even called them like, hey, can I come see it? I don't even know if I can kneel on the board.
Yeah.
They had like a knee pad and everything.
Helped me out.
And I just tootled around out there by myself. It was great to get back up there. I didn't even know if I could.
Yeah.
Didn't know if I could get from the knee up, but I did.
You did. And I remember that picture
Yeah.
and you talking with some of the other friends that you've made here at the gym just on how awesome that was. And now before we started shooting this show, you were telling me that you and a whole bunch of clients have already signed up to go do the bungee fitness.
The bungee fitness.
Yes, which we just had Katie on an episode with South Dakota Aero and Arts like a month ago. And so cool to do those different things and find ways to incorporate fitness and movement into your life. Let's kind of try to peel back the curtain a little bit for somebody that's like, okay, cool, she did it. I think I might be able to do it, but like, what else does this involve, right? So you said that you switched your monsters that you drank to a day and your drinks. Was it just like, I decided I'm switching, or did you cut back to like 1 and then switch, or how did you do it?
I cut back to like 1.
Okay.
And then now I don't really drink them.
Okay.
I mean, I drink some caffeine, but not
a ton. Yep.
Not a ton.
Okay. And your energy levels seem to still be fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still good.
I do the pre-workout before I work out. And sometimes I have a little caffeine in the morning, but otherwise, I've never been a coffee drinker or anything like that. So
water.
Yeah. A lot of water.
A lot of water. Was water something that you had to focus on? Like you focused on getting?
No, I plain old water.
Yeah, just drink it, and that comes easy for you. Well, that's good. Okay. And then what about having like the alcoholic beverages? Like, was that difficult?
So, I mean, I was a big wine drinker.
Okay.
I like wine. But and I switched to vodka. Well, vodka has less calories, right? It's healthier for it. Well, still alcohol, but
sure.
So it was just like, no, I'm just not. And when like we would go out to eat, and if I'd order one, I'd always order water with it now. Like I always just get 1 instead of 2.
Yep.
And I have water with it, drink water.
Yep.
But just stopped.
Was that a new habit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So back before, you would order the wine or the drinks and you wouldn't order the water. No. But now you order water with it.
Yeah. Like we go to the same restaurant every Wednesday night with some friends. And when I walk in, they already bring my water with, like they bring it out. They know.
I love that. I love like good customer service. When they get to know you and stuff, that's awesome. So that's so cool. And I think too, you've said a couple things already Number one was you mentioned that when you went paddleboarding, they brought the knee pad out for you. People are willing to accommodate and then help you on your health and fitness journey, but you have to ask, and you have to have the open-mindedness to just ask them to help you out. Like that waiter or waitress that knows you guys now brings the water with you. Right. That's accommodating your health and your fitness journey. And for me, a lot of times I decided this year, I've given up alcohol completely. I did it a couple years ago. And when you are in a social event, it can be hard to, okay, everyone else is drinking. What do I do? And it's okay to just have a soda. Yeah. It's okay to just have water. And what happens though is that when all of a sudden you can tell your friend group, like, no, I'm doing this for me. They, the ones that are really your true friends that want the best for you, will then stop being like, no, have a drink. You know, they just accommodate you as well. Right. They don't even ask if you want one or whatever, because they know this is something that Liz is doing. What about you and Lars sharing a meal? Like as a guy, I love food, you know, and so like, was that hard for him or not?
No, not at all. So we're both doing a lot of intermittent fasting too. Yeah. So it's not challenging at all. In fact, I'll plug the attic. They have this great egg roll in a bowl. Okay. But it's huge. Okay. So we order and we're like, hey, can you put more protein in it? Yeah. And they're like, sure. I'm like, hey, can you make it with chicken instead of the pork? I like the chicken. Sure. So like we'll go in there, order it, double the protein with chicken, and then we just split it. Like there's no reason that one person needs to eat all that. Yeah. But it's good. Yeah. So
that's awesome. And so that's the attic. And I love that. I love when we can highlight different places that are willing. And like I said, most places are willing, but you just have to ask. You know, I did a couple episodes back on I think it was like 15 ways to order healthy when you go out. And that was one of the tips, is be willing to ask if they can make it a different way than is on the menu. For me, my biggest weird one, and I kind of highlight this on that episode as well, but we'll go to Olive Garden and they have a chicken scampi and they have a shrimp scampi. Well, you would think, just looking at it, that the only difference is chicken or shrimp. It's a whole different meal. And the shrimp scampi is like a very light calorie meal. The chicken scampi is like twice the amount of calories. And so now when I order it, I'm like, hey, I want the shrimp scampi, no shrimp, but chicken. Oh, so you want chicken scampi? I'm like, oh, no. And so, but now like I've figured out how to order it. Right. And the people that are serving me figured out how to get it how I want it. And now I can order that meal and you eat it in a way where you are left feeling good. Right. And so now when you leave restaurants and when you and Lars share the meal, you probably leave that restaurant feeling good and not feeling bloated or overfilled. Right. Yeah. And then that's just another little win that stacks on. So also too, in the beginning, so you called in after that first workout, you're like, I'm so sore. Like, should I be that sore? And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I have another client that comes to mind, exactly the same thing. She came in. She's now an amazing client at our West location. Carla, I think you say her last name, Weiss. I don't know exactly, Weiss or Weiss, but same thing. And the truth of it is that, you know, you may be sore if you overdid it, but then what was the advice? What did they tell you?
Drink water. Yeah. Sit in a bath. They're like, and don't like keep moving. Yeah. Like keep moving. Like, yes, come back. Don't not come back. Like keep moving.
Do you remember who you talked to?
I don't remember if it was Mama D or if it was Jess. It was somebody. I was like, I don't know. Should I hurt this much? Yeah. Yeah. And we're like, well, we don't want you to hurt this much. That's definitely not the goal. But that is. And so you kept moving. Yep. And so how did you start on like a 28-day program? Yeah.
Or what? Yeah. Okay. And so it was like you paid for it. That was the thing, right?
Yeah, I paid for it. So
I'm going to go do it.
I'm going to go do it.
Okay. And so do you remember like how many days a week you started going?
I think 3.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too, because a lot of times people have this mindset, if they're going to make this big change, they have to go 7 days a week. Right. And you did 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. Now how many do you go?
Now I do 6 days a week, but for a long time I did 5 days. Wednesdays and Sundays were my rest days. Okay. And it wasn't because Wednesday was MetCon. It just my schedule.
Sure. Are you sure?
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's funny.
So now I go 6 days.
Okay. And so you kind of went from 3. Did you go right from 3 to 5, or did you go 3 to 4 and then to 5? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I know, because it's all been kind of wrapped up.
Yeah.
Do you think one of the things you had mentioned too is finding, obviously, with that fit body, you don't have to think about the workout.
Right.
Was that a big help? Was not having to think of what to do?
Yeah. So there was a couple weeks ago, you guys were closed and I couldn't get here in the morning, and then you closed the weather, we live here. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, Lars, will you just take me to your gym with you? And I just kind of wandered around like, I walked on the treadmill, but I'm like, I have one of those at home.
Yeah.
I did their pull-up machine. I did a few things that I was like, I don't know
what to do.
I don't really like this.
And I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it.
Yep. And I think that's so important. And so for Lars, does he go to that gym that he goes to pretty much every week?
Yep.
And for Lars, that's great. And the cool thing is that finding what works for you, this works for you, and finding that community of people. How much of an influence or support or help would you say it's been having other people on this journey with you?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
And I've forged so many friendships here and people here that I'm like, I don't know how I lived without them before.
Yeah. I just think it is so cool. And I don't know. So this will be news to me. How many of them, if any, did you know any of them before starting? None of them. Yeah.
And I found out I work with a bunch of them, and I didn't even know that. So
can I ask, where do you work at?
I work at Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Okay. And so other of them work there as well.
Yeah.
And that's so wild, right?
Yeah.
Do you work at an office, or do you work at home, or is it kind of a mixture of both?
Mixture of both.
Okay. 2020 kind of changed that all up, right?
Yeah.
Before 2020, was it all at office?
Yep.
Okay. So, hey, maybe one good thing that came, you get a couple home days.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you met that friend group. And I think that's kind of something too. How do you meet those people otherwise, right?
Right.
It's really hard to know. Was there any people that didn't support you? Like, did you ever run into, because sometimes we find that people run into, all of a sudden their friend group don't support them and they don't want to hang out with them. Was that at all a case scenario for you at all? Was there a time where it's like, my friends didn't want to hang out with me that maybe used to go get some wine with or something? Did that ever happen, or not really?
No, not really.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I know it can happen.
Yeah.
But in my case, I can't say that I have not had any unsupportive
That's good.
friends.
That's really good. That's really good. So here we are, 100 pounds down, just finding ways to make fitness fit into your life. Your big push that just was like, throttle down, I'm going, was kind of that fear of, I don't want to have knee surgery again sooner than I have to.
Yeah.
Are there anything else that you, Lars, or the kids have been able to experience or notice because of do you have more energy just like overall?
Oh, yeah. So I do. And my kids are in marching band. And
Okay.
so we're like pit group parents. So we
Okay.
haul props and
Sure.
build things and do all of that stuff. So I definitely feel like I'm able to help more with that. Like those big stages and all that stuff is heavy and hard, which is, I feel like I'm able to help with that, and I don't have to stand there and watch.
I'm sure that makes Gabe and Lydia feel good that mom and dad are helping out
Yeah.
and are able to.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely awesome. One thing that was sticking out to me that you said kind of in the beginning was, I was a fast food junkie. So how'd you get over that? Like, because was it mainly for lunch, or was it mainly whenever?
Lunch, if I was on my own, I mean, Lars is huge because he doesn't like that stuff. So if I'm with him, we won't eat it. But like if I was like on my own and going to go get lunch, I would very easily go eat that. Like in I worked at the mall for 10 years. It was very easy to go into the food court and eat that stuff. Like I just.
Yeah.
So
do you still have it sometimes?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then still enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay. And me too.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing too, for me, like I've got some friends that are health and fitness junkies, and they don't even enjoy that. They're like, oh, that's gross. Like that's nasty. I don't know how anyone can eat that. For me, like, I'll be honest, I love me some McDonald's fries, right? Like, I don't know, they're probably disgusting. I don't know how they can sit out for years on end and not mold and just still be a French fry. Like that's gross when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the way they taste.
Yeah.
I've got other, like I said, fitness friends like, how can you eat that? But I do enjoy it. And I think on this journey, like you've learned, obviously, is that you still like it. You still will enjoy it. But you just had to kind of adjust the cadence in which you enjoy it.
Yeah. So my son works at Taco John's. And so sometimes when he comes home, he'll bring home Olays.
Yeah.
And he'll just give me a few because that's all I want. I just want to taste them. That's all I want. I don't need to eat the whole thing. I just want to taste them.
Whereas maybe before though, you'd eat the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, that's a big thing that I've changed in my journey as well, is realizing that I can just have a couple.
Yeah.
I was always that like, well, if I'm going to eat whatever this thing is, I'm going to eat the whole thing.
Right.
Well, no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can just have a couple. And it does take kind of that discipline over time to be able to graduate into being able to do that. But that's huge, because it does come down to what you put in your body fuels your body,
right,
or holds you back. Okay, so how about now? You said that you intermittent fast. How long have you added that type of diet
I've probably
way?
been at that for about a year.
A year, okay.
Yeah.
And what is your kind of window? Like, when do you try to have your window be where you're not eating?
My eating window is like noon to 8.
Noon to 8, okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And so you've been you found that helps you out. That's awesome. Okay. Before that, what was your eating regimen? Even when you were losing the weight though?
I did a lot of like and I still do measure and weigh some stuff, but now I've kind of done that so long that I kind of know like what container I use. I know how much fits in there, but
sure.
I would always I eat a lot of the same thing like every single day. I don't.
Sure.
Like, I have cottage cheese. I have a salad with chicken, and I just really change up the salad type.
Yeah.
Like you can buy those bagged salads at Aldi, right? And I can make it last all week if I mix spinach with it, and
sure.
I buy like the chicken that's already pre-cut and packaged and weighed, and and a lot of water.
Yep.
And then dinner, we usually try to meal plan, like what are we going to eat all week? What do we have going on? What night will be a leftover night? And then one big thing for us is, I don't know what people use for dishes, but we have Corral. They get the big dinner plates, the lunch plates, the little plates. We don't even use the dinner plates.
Sure.
We eat off the little lunch plate.
Yep.
Because when you fill the plate's full, but it's still a plate.
But that's what you eat.
Right.
And it's those little things. And so it's finding those things where now you're not using that big plate. And we have this tendency to, like, if this is the plate that we grabbed, fill it.
Right.
And so if you have that big one, you're adding more calories to that plate than you even need.
Yeah.
But you took them, and we also live in a society where it's like, if you took it, you eat it.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you grew up that way, but I grew up in the way, like, you finish what you take, right? You don't throw food off of your plate away. And so that's a huge tip, is finding a smaller plate to be able to enjoy that off of. Were you the type of person at all that had to like set little goals that you needed to accomplish along the way to this big goal?
Do it all at once.
Yeah. So what were some of the little goals that you set? Were they weight loss goals, or were they like fitting into certain size clothes goals, or were they doing certain thing goals? Like, what worked for you?
It certainly wasn't like a weight number goal.
Okay.
It was, I had some clothing goals. I had, I'm going to fit into this pair of jeans, or I'm going to fit into this shirt. There were goals about, I'm going to, really make sure I weigh my food all this week, or I'm not going to get on the scale this week, but I'm going to get on the scale next week. There was a lot of little different things, and through my recovery, I was modified a lot. And, you talked about, don't be afraid to ask for help. Well, the gym was fantastic with modifications. Like, what can I do instead of this?
Sure.
Like, what else can I do? I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of those types of goals too. Like, I'm going to lift a heavier dumbbell next week when we do this exercise, or I'm going to try and do this instead. Or
can we dive into that a little bit? Because we actually do have a ton of clients, whether they come to our gym, I'm sure this happens with any other gym too, where a client will get injured. And the first thing that comes to mind, even for myself at times, is I probably need to stop. I'm injured. But for you, like you said, you're working through this recovery. So with us specifically at FitBody, how did you manage that? Like, did you come in early and then talk with the coaches, or how did you, because sometimes it's like there's all these different exercises, and when you're in the workout, a lot's happening fast.
Right.
So how did you manage that with the team to be able to make sure that the team knew what you could and couldn't do, and this is what you can try instead? Like, how did that look for you?
So for me, when I was first going to come back, I was like listing down, like, what are all the exercises that we do? And I was like texting my friends, like, what am I missing off my list here? And then I took my list to my PT guy and I said, check them. What can I do and what can I do? You know? And so then I brought that list in and like, here's all the things I can do.
Yeah.
Here's all the things I can't do yet.
Yeah.
And I'll keep you updated as I can add more. So there were some times I think like Renee and Carly wrote some special workouts for me, like
Okay.
on when we did Saturday circles or whatever.
Yeah.
There was one day I came in and I had my own board with my own workout on it.
That's so cool.
So that was great. And then other times I would come in early and we would just walk the workout. And
The coach would go with you?
The coach would go with me.
Okay.
We'd look at the board, look at the exercise, and I'd be like, I don't know. Let's just try real quick and see it. Nope, I can't do that. What can I do instead?
Yep.
And I really got to the point because we did that so much, like I kind of knew what I could modify most of the time. So sometimes I just walk it myself. And if I was like, well, I don't know what I can do instead of that, then I would ask. But I got a lot to the point where I could figure it out on my own.
Yeah. So with that, one of the things that could be, even for a lot of our clients, it's like, okay, if everyone's doing this and then I go do that, people are going to like think I'm not doing that. How did you handle that? Like you just didn't care?
I didn't really care.
Yeah, right?
Sometimes I don't care, but I always felt bad when there was like a new person they'd put in our group, like, don't watch me because I'm not going to do what everybody else is going to do. Like, so don't do what I do.
Yeah.
But sometimes I felt stupid, like stepping out a jumping jack when everybody else is jumping. And Mama D and I had that conversation where she had her hip done. And I was like, sometimes I feel really stupid, but I'm still moving.
Yep.
And I'm doing what I can do.
Yep.
And I feel like I see today versus 2 years ago so much more modification, which is great. Like that people are, and even doing the demos, they're like, here's how we do it. Here's how you level up. Here's how you can modify it if it's too hard. Like, I think that's just so awesome that it just gives people a little bit more like, okay, well, I don't have to do it that way. So,
And I think a lot of times too, that's like letting go of our ego, right? Because our ego is like, no, you're going to do a full jumping jack. Right. But we know with what you went through with your knees, like, no, Liz, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right.
And then if you hurt yourself to a point where you can't do it, now you're really setting yourself back. For me, very similar with your knee, like I've got a messed up lower back. And last Friday we were doing, I don't even remember what it was. It was a dumbbell movement that was like a swing or a hinge or something. Well, and it was cardio. So I just went over to the ski ergs and was doing that. And it feels awkward because everyone else in the whole room is doing something different. But then you go over and do this other thing. But I think with that, it's empowering people to do what they can do that satisfies their body and doesn't hurt their body.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's still pushing you towards your end goal, and movement is the key.
Right.
And so the fact that you came in and were moving, you had to put that ego to rest a little bit.
Yeah.
But here we are, 100 pounds. And I know a big thing for you though was, I know you wanted to hit that 100 before the end of the year. And you were stuck at like this little bit of a spot where it wasn't moving.
No.
How did you handle that? Like, did you get frustrated and want to, like, did you just say it? Was there any point where you're like, screw it?
No.
Okay. Anywhere along after the second knee surgery, right? You're only 10 pounds down now because you'd gained 40 back. So we've got this 90-pound journey that you went on consistently over the last 2 years.
I felt like I had that frustration before the knee surgery, when I was losing the 50. And I don't know, the knee surgeries were just a real eye-opener for me. And when they put that 40 back, I thought, what did I do? Like Jensen told me to intermittent fast. He told me to work on my upper body while I sat on the couch, and I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I sat and wallowed. Like, why did I do that? Like, that was just kind of like my last straw. I don't want anyone to have to go have fear, the knees being like their last game, but that's what it was for you.
Me. Yeah. And so I think that's a big thing, is figuring out what is that thing for you that's going to push you, because a lot of times that fear of stepping out of our comfort zone is what keeps us where we're at.
Yeah.
And I just think it's amazing for you, Liz, that you, through the knee surgeries, you gained that 40 pounds back. And here you are only 10 pounds down from where you started over a year ago. That could have been it. That could have been like, you know what? Like, screw it. I was 50 pounds down and now I'm 10. But you just pushed through it. And I think that, I hope, and I know that those watching and listening, is just going to be such an inspiration that, wow, to go through those knee surgeries, like we go through like maybe a little bit of plateau or mindset struggle. You went through like 2 major knee surgeries and just kept going. What's your next goal? Is it like, what do you have in store for you? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
So my sticky note on the board in there
Yes.
is I want to do at least one unassisted pull-up by the end of
Okay.
March.
Okay.
So pull-ups are my new
That's
goal.
the next goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what are you doing to work towards that?
So I am, well, at least on Saturdays. I should probably be doing it more than just Saturdays. I have a lot of time in the morning.
Yeah. Yep.
But the coaches that are working been helping with the banded pull-ups.
Sure.
So I got off the blue band and I'm onto the green band.
Hey, that's progress.
So,
that's progress.
So just
Yeah.
doing some of those things. Picking up heavier weights. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't be afraid of those heavy weights.
Yeah. Have you noticed that be like a big help
Yeah.
is working towards the heavier weight?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have this stigma that if I lift heavy, I'm going to get big and bulky.
No.
Right?
No.
Say it again.
No, I'm not big and bulky.
No, but I seen you at Costco the other day. We ran into each other. And when I seen you, like, it took me a good second. Like, holy smokes. Like, kind of like, you know, when your dog has like that little like, huh? Like they do that little like tilt with their head where they're just confused, but they know what's going on. I seen you and I'm like, Liz, that doesn't even look like you. Like, you have totally changed your life. Your energy is up. You're accomplishing things that are just incredible. Pushing yourself to grab those heavier weights. Like, I want you to be so proud of yourself. I know that you are. And the big thing is that you are inspiring so many people. And I know that that's not, like, you're not doing it to inspire others. You're doing it to improve your own life. But the fact of the matter is that there's people that see that you've gone through this change. And it does. One of our core values at FitBody is create hope. And I think for a lot of people that maybe are watching or listening to this, that maybe have some joint or surgery type stuff coming up, like, this creates hope that, hey, Liz can do this and did this. I can as well. Just major props to you, Liz. What would you maybe say as we kind of get ready to kind of come to a closure? What would you say to someone that is looking to start their journey? And maybe FitBody's for them, maybe FitBody's not for them, but what type of advice would you give to someone that is looking to start a pretty significant weight loss journey?
Don't be afraid. Like, just start. Go somewhere. Try everything. Try them all. I've tried hot yoga. I don't like yoga.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I've tried other gyms. They're not for me.
Yeah.
This is for me, but I had to try a lot of places and try a lot of things to find what was for me.
When you started and you found FitBody, how long had you been trying? Like, when was, like, you're at that point, I think you said you're 300 pounds or
Almost.
over? Almost 300. Yeah. Okay. How long have you been, like, had you been thinking, like, man, I want to lose some weight?
For a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long before you found FitBody would you say that you were actively, like, trying other places? Was it like a month, 2, a year?
A year, probably. On
a year.
And off. Yeah.
Yeah. And just trying a whole bunch of different things.
I would try and then I'd quit and then I'd just be gone. And then I'd try something else and then I'd quit and then I just wouldn't do anything.
And so when we look back at that, if we're at 5 years now, we're at 2024, so that would put us at 2019. And you'd say a year before that you were starting. So you really started this in what did I just say? 18. Yeah. 2018 is when you were like, you know what? I'm going to find something. Yeah. And 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 24. We're not at 5 yet.
Yeah.
That's 6 years. But that's a 6-year journey. So was it overnight?
No.
Absolutely not. It was 6 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of setbacks.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. Not only the knee surgery, but I mean, I'm sure mental setbacks too and struggles. Yeah. And so I want that to create hope in those that are watching and listening too, because you lost 100 pounds. And the thing of it is so many times we'll see these infomercials or these ads, right? Take this pill, do this diet, do this thing, and look, you can lose so much weight fast. And maybe somebody.
Right.
Maybe somebody.
Right.
But this right here, your journey, is true. It's realistic. It's obtainable for anybody.
Yeah.
It was 6 years. Would you go back and change those 6 years, like to be where you're at now?
I don't know. I maybe would have started Fit Body 6 years ago.
Started Fit Body sooner, and that's just it. It is, but you didn't give up.
No.
And so I think wherever you are at in your journey, maybe you've lost 50 pounds and you gained 40 of it back, like our friend Liz, and maybe you're thinking of wanting to give up. I want this to be encouragement to them just to keep going, because there's nothing better than feeling good. Has your confidence level, how was your confidence level before? Were you someone that struggled with confidence or no? Because some do and some don't.
Maybe in some situations.
Some.
But I don't know. I consider myself to be fairly outgoing.
Yeah. And I think a big thing for you, and I don't know Lars super well, but I did get to know Lars a little bit. I love Lars. I love his beard. It's always so fun to chat with Lars. But I just want to give him kudos too. Like, what an awesome support system for you. And I think that just helps too, that he's been pushing you on and supporting you through this journey. And Gabe and Lydia, obviously the whole family effect. It's just been awesome to see. So Liz's advice to you is to not give up, to try and find something that fits you, whether that's Fit Body or not. And that's the big thing too. Like, try the different things. Maybe it is the paddleboarding. Yeah. Maybe it is this bungee fitness. Maybe it is the 75-mile bike ride. Maybe it's the beer and the bacon on the bike ride. But find something that you're excited about. Liz, I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. You guys, Fit and Healthy Sioux Falls is all about helping you realize how you can live fit and healthy. If you want to come and get a workout with Liz, you could probably find her at 6 a.m. at our central location at Fit Body. We'd love to see you in here and welcome you on this journey. But Liz, I just want, as we're here and everybody watching, I want you to be able to know how proud I am of you, how thankful I am that you would come. When I asked Liz, I was like, Liz, I want to start adding some like really cool client success stories to this. And I don't know like what people, like this can be kind of intimidating, right? Like here we are. I don't know who's going to see it, who's going to watch this. But thank you so much for being willing to come in and share your story. And that just to me is so encouraging to know where you were at, to know the 6-year journey to where you're at now. But friends, thank you guys for joining today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this episode so that we can keep on changing the lives of our community right here on the Fit and Healthy Sioux Falls podcast. We'll catch you next week, guys. Bye-bye. Peace.